speak on it. I didn't notice certain things in myself reading this again. Sorry, I'm trying to get rid of myself. I'm going to start with giving you just a little bit background on the name of Ruth. Ruth is from the Hebrew origin meaning companion, friend, fellow woman, or vision of beauty. The phrase of Ruth is one who understands others' feelings when in trouble or they are in troubled times and take in their sorrow. The meaning of virtue is moral excellence, goodness, righteousness, a good or admirable quality, and effective force. Ruth was a faithful, family-oriented, and loving woman. The story of Ruth starts when a man from Bethlehem in Judah left his home and took his family to live in Moab. He had a wife, Naomi, and 2 sons. After moving, Naomi's husband passed away. The 2 sons married Moabite women, one of which was Ruth. After about 10 years, both sons passed away. So Ruth was there with only her mother-in-law and her sister-in-law. Her mother-in-law Naomi heard that Lord had blessed her homeland with good crops again, so they decided to leave and head toward her homeland. But while on the way, Naomi told her daughter-in-laws they should return home because she could no longer give them sons. They cried, and one daughter went ahead and went back home. But Ruth said she would not leave her. And Ruth 1:15 through 17 reads, "Look, Naomi said to her, your sister-in-law has gone back to her people and to her gods. You should do the same." But Ruth replied, "Don't ask me to leave you or turn back. Wherever you go, I will go. Wherever you live, I will live. Your people will be my people, and God will be my God. Wherever you die, I will die, and there I will be buried. May the Lord punish me severely if I allow anything but death to separate us." Ruth was determined to not leave her mother-in-law, so she continued on the road to Bethlehem. When they arrived, it was about the beginning of harvesting time. So one day Ruth said to Naomi, "I'm going to go out into the fields and gather what was left behind." Little did she know that she would end up in the territory of her future, that she would actually be at the start of a new life. She was in the field owned by a man named Boaz. Ruth 2:5 through 12. When Boaz arrived, he asked his foreman, "Who is that young woman over there? Who does she belong to?" And the foreman replied, "She is a young woman from Moab who came back with Naomi. She asked me this morning if she could gather grain behind the harvesters. She has been hard at work ever since, except for a few minutes rest in the shelter." Boaz went over and said to Ruth, "Listen, my daughter, stay right here with us and gather grain. Don't go to any other fields. Stay right here, the young one working in my field. See which part of the field they are harvesting, and then follow. I have warned the young man not to treat you roughly, and when you are thirsty, help yourself to our water." Ruth fell at her feet and thanked him warmly. "What have I done to deserve such kindness?" she asked. "I am only a foreigner." Boaz replied, "Yes, I know. But I also know about everything you have done for your mother-in-law since the death of your husband. I have heard how you left your father and mother and on your own land to live here among us complete strangers. May the Lord, the God of Israel, under whose wings you have come, take refuge, reward you fully for what you have done." Now, when I thought about that, if I was Ruth, I would have been pretty surprised. You know, me somewhere, complete stranger, never been here before. But instead, Boaz said he helped her. Ruth was a stranger, yet Boaz said he was going to help. After talking with Boaz, Ruth said she felt comforted. She now would be supplied for and safe. When the time came for dinner, Boaz even invited her to dinner to eat with them and had enough to take home to her mother-in-law. When she got home and Naomi received what she brought for her, she asked Ruth, "Where did you get this from?" So Naomi asked again, "Where did you get this from?" And Ruth replied, "A man named Boaz." Ruth 2:20. "May the Lord bless him," Naomi told her daughter-in-law. "He has shown his kindness as well to you as well to your dead husband. That man is one of our closest relatives, one of our family redeemers." A family redeemer is a close family member who is obligated to buy an object or a person from slavery, indenture, or otherwise harsh circumstances, which would be Naomi and Ruth. They were in pretty harsh circumstances at that time. It is also a title that they use for God, who removes his people from bondage and reclaims them as his own. Maybe Naomi had a thought in her head when she found out that Ruth was with Boaz that, he could take care of her situation. So in Ruth 3, Naomi told her to get dressed in your best clothes, take a bath, put on perfume, and go to where Boaz is. But don't let him see you until he's had his full share. That is in Ruth 3:7-13. I won't read that. I'm going to put one on time. When the morning came, Boaz gave her some barley to head back home with. People could not know that she had been there. So when Ruth made it back to her home with her mother-in-law, she told Naomi what had happened, and Naomi told her to wait. My daughter, be patient. Boaz would take care of things. Back in those days, you couldn't just say, here you go, and the person talked to you. You had to go before the person talked to them, and then either the witnesses or the elders had to be with you to witness what was going on. I'm not exactly sure how to explain this. I read up on it, but what they would do, Boaz went before the guy who was before him, and he said he would claim them. But when he found out that he had to take Ruth, he couldn't do that because it would hurt his own family history. So Boaz said, I would take the robe for you, but to make a contract, they would take their sandals off and hand them to each other, kind of like a written contract like what we do now. So after that happened, Boaz took the woman, took all the crops from her ancestors, and later on, Ruth conceived a child, and from that child later on conceived David. I thought about that. I didn't realize, I knew she was important. I didn't realize how far her track went back to our line of everything after I got to really reading on that. And it made me think. Ruth went from being in a family with a husband, brother-in-law, father-in-law, sister-in-law, the whole 9 yards, to losing all the males and a sister-in-law who returned back home. Then traveling to an unknown place to her to live, then further going to help provide for her mother-in-law and herself. In the process, gained a husband and kept the family name going by giving birth, which led to David's birth. She stayed faithful and true.
That's right.
When I think of Ruth's virtue, her legacy, I think of how humble, kind, and submissive a woman she was. What a purpose she had as well. The love she had isn't commonly always seen today. We often think about ourselves and not about family or even want to put ourselves in the situation. We just stray away from it, yet she stayed true no matter what the situation, and not just for herself. It helped her mother-in-law, and then later helped her and her family to give us what we have now.
That's right.
What I wanted to read to you guys was just, remember that we are women of worth.
Right.
That's right.
Remember what kind of woman you can be led to be. Ruth, what an example to follow, her legacy of virtue.
Amen. That's good.